listening to another episode of the Coaster101 podcast. I'm Andrew Stillwell, and like many United States-based theme park enthusiasts, we have seen this park on our radar for years, ever since it was announced way back when. It's a park that many people have not gotten to yet, but there are U.S. enthusiasts who have started to make their way to the mythical Six Flags Qiddiya City, and which opened December 31st of 2025. So they got every bit of that late 2025. They made it happen. They got the park open, officially grand open. So it's been open for a couple of months now. Recently, our two podcast guests, they took a trip over to the Middle East from their home base in Orlando. So I'll bring them in. We're going to talk about all things Six Flags Qiddiya City, the rest of their trip. I believe there's a mention of the Jeddah Road Metro, which I think we're going to get into shortly. But first, I'm going to bring in past guest of the show, Scott Schaffer from Upstop Media. Scott, welcome back to the Coaster101 podcast.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Absolutely. And also, I'm going to bring in Hunter Hernandez. His YouTube channel is Theme Park Hunting. He also happens to be the roommate of my sometimes co-host Shane, who I'm now told I have to refer to as Sham Shane.
Correct. So, that's correct.
I love it. All right. Well, Hunter, welcome to the Coaster101 podcast. Glad we can have you here with, Shane is much. Shane's not even in the other room right now. He's out of the park right now. So we can talk we can say anything we want to about him, and it's going to just live on the internet.
That sounds like a plan to me. Yeah. Shane, he loves to, as a lot of our friends would say, he loves to betray us, I'm betrayer Shane, but we love Shane. He's the best, but he decided to, throw me into this and not join because,
that's fair.
You, but so is what it is. Can't do much about it. He has to go to Epic instead, I guess. That I comped him into, by the way.
Tough break, but you're stuck with me, but that's okay.
Shane, I love you. I have to say it. I do love you. You're the best roommate ever.
I do too. He's pretty great. Anyway, you guys, Six Flags Qiddiya City. Again, as I mentioned at the top of the show, it's a place that a lot of U.S. enthusiasts have kind of had circled on their radar. Obviously, they have Falcon's Flight, which is the world's tallest, fastest, longest, and probably some other EST coasters. I want to talk about your trip, though. How far in advance were you guys planning to get to, when they announced opening dates? Like, when did you decide to, take your first trip over there?
I think we said we really from the get-go, I think probably like when Falcon's Flight started construction, we both just said, okay, we're going when it opens, like the second it opens.
Yeah. it was kind of a thing where like we had agreed, we were like, okay, when they announced an opening day for it, let's go like a month and a half to 2 months after to get it time, if it has any problems, because we knew there'd be like a big like initial rush at the park. It was also opening like right around the holidays too. So yeah, it was, we were like, we can't wait too long, but we want to go as quickly as we can, but we wanted the dust to settle a little bit.
Okay. And then, so you guys were there, what, first couple weeks of February, last bit of January, thereabouts?
February 4th through the 8th, I believe, were the exact dates we were there. Yeah.
Okay. So you gave it, you let the dust settle, and, getting over to Riyadh and Qiddiya City, it can't be an easy flight from Orlando. I don't imagine it's a direct flight. So if you're looking to travel, like how many hours were you guys in the air headed over there, or in the air / in other airports?
Too many.
So we're kind of spoiled because, you do get a lot of flights in and out of Orlando. So we actually flew direct from Orlando to Dubai on Emirates. And then we spent like the first 8 or 9 days of the trip in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. And then we flew Emirates from Dubai to Riyadh. There's really no direct flights currently. I believe I was told like September, October, they're going to start flying direct. I forget what airline, but
Atlanta to Riyadh is going direct now.
Oh, that's right. Atlanta to Riyadh. Yeah. So that'll be a nice option. But yeah, right now, I mean, you just kind of got to find a way there, so it's a lot of our friends would fly to like Amsterdam and then connect from Amsterdam there, or they fly to various like big European cities, London.
When we were looking originally, it looked like a lot of the cheaper options were connecting to numerous countries, even places like Jordan and a lot of like countries like you wouldn't typically connect into, whereas Emirates kind of just seemed like the best option for just like direct to Dubai, direct to Riyadh, same airline, just keep it simple. So I think it's like, sure, we had to spend maybe a little more, but really it wasn't that much more to save us. I feel like plenty of time when it came to those connections.
Yeah. How long? What's the flight time? Orlando to Dubai.
That was a 13-hour flight there, I believe.
16 back.
Yeah.
Gross.
It was rough. That was a rough flight.
I mean, and I'm sure. I mean, I know Emirates has like the the reputation. All the international carriers are way better than anything we fly domestically. Were the seats like? I mean, I'm assuming you guys aren't in like lay down business class, first class seats.
We're broke.
No, we're in coach.
Yeah. We get the cheapest seats.
They're pretty sad. Like they're nicer than I'd say for sure some like Delta, but they're coach seats. They're not gonna be like nothing's comfortable for 13 hours.
We made the smart decision, especially on the way back, to like kind of so the flight on the way back wasn't very busy, so we just looked at rows that were empty and we both took our own row. So we essentially had a row like we laid out completely across 4 seats. So that was
fantastic.
Nice. Yeah,
that's awesome. All right, so again, Six Flags Qiddiya City opened December 31st, 2025. They've got 8 roller coasters. What are your, pulling up to this park, again, you spent several days in Dubai, visited some parks over there. We had to talk about, we'll talk about those, but we got to talk about Six Flags. Pulling up to this park for the first time, I know it's part of like this greater like entertainment village type development. But what's it like pulling up to that park for the first time? A brand new park, you can see all of these like enormous record-breaking roller coasters and drop towers and things like that. But what's your first opinion on first thoughts when you pull up to a place like Six Flags Qiddiya City?
Well, Scott, do you want to share the story of our first time trying to get there?
I would love to share the story. Yeah. So we thought, because we were meeting up with Kumar, one of the marketing, like she handles like the social media marketing. And the bus you can take that was recommended to us would get to the park like slightly after they open at 4, and we needed to be there kind of right at, if not before 4 o'clock, just to get in, because we only had 2 hours of daylight to film. So we're like, oh, let's just take an Uber there, right? Easy, no problem. And then so we take an Uber, and like everything was going great. And then he took like the wrong exit. So like there's like a main Qiddiya City exit, and then he went to the next one, which then put us at like a checkpoint. And all these guys like surrounded the car, asked us a bunch of questions, and we're like, oh no, we're definitely not in the right place. So like we had to turn around and we had to go back. And this is probably about maybe like 2:45, 3 o'clock. Like we wanted to be there early. So we drive down this main stretch, and it's like you can see like all the cliffs and everything else. You don't quite see the park yet. And you head down this, it's like basically like a 4-lane highway. And then all of a sudden, like, there it is, like unmistakable. You can see that Camelback Hill, right? And it's just like it's the most gigantic. Well, like everything at the park is larger than life, right? It's like pulling up to Las Vegas. You're like, look at this thing, unbelievable. And then we got to a security checkpoint, and they were like, oh yeah, you guys can't come in until like 3 or 3:30. So we're like, oh no. So we had to like turn around. The problem was that 4-lane highway that takes you like, 15 minutes to get to the park off the main highway. There's no like easy way to really turn around. So we had to basically go all the way back and then turn around and then come all the way back. So that was like another like half hour, 40 minutes. So we had already seen this park, and we're already like, oh my God, there it is. And then we had to turn around and then come all the way back.
Ugh. We were supposed to get there at 2:45 originally. We got there at 3:50.
Yeah.
Ooh. And I'm sure in the meantime, you're texting the person doing the social media for the park who you're supposed to meet up with, because you guys did do some filming on rides, which we'll get into here in a little bit. But like, as you're in contact with this person, you're like, hey, they're making us turn around. Hey, they're making us we can't. They say they can't come in. Like, wait for us. Like, what's happening here?
Well, she messaged me and said, "Hey, I'll be available to meet up with you guys at 5:00." So I was like, "Oh, like we're here now, but at least we don't have to really worry about time." So at least that was kind of we had a little buffer there, which was nice because
It kind of worked out because I was gonna say it worked out because it at least gave us a ride on Falcons to prep of what we were gonna have to do, which helped a lot.
Yeah,
because I think if we went into that raw and had to film it, that would have been rough. That would have been rough.
Yeah, trying to film it. Yeah, we had no idea what was coming. But when you do get to the park, so if you drive there, right, and you get through like those initial kind of checkpoints, and then they park you in a parking lot, and you're still a bit away from the park. There's a bus that'll take you to kind of the main entrance to the park. So you park and you see it, and it's still off in the distance. You know what I mean? So it just, I don't know, it gets you so hyped to see it,
and it gets bigger and bigger the closer you get to it, because it's like, I guess the parking lot's more elevated, so it doesn't look that big when you first park, but as you get closer, you're just realizing like,
yeah. Yeah, and then when you see it up on the cliff in the background, it's like, oh, that's massive. But yeah, so they take you on a bus there. They kind of drop you off at like the main entrance. But as you pull in, because this is essentially a new city under construction. Everywhere you look, as far as you can see, I mean, it's tower cranes, it's construction. This massive F1 track is going up. All these massive resorts. The water park is insane looking. Just everything looks insane there. It doesn't look real. You look up on the cliffside and they're building the new football stadium that's going to be at the very top of the cliff, and just it is surreal to be there. It doesn't seem like it should exist, and it's literally in the middle of the desert. Like it's you drive so far out and there's just nothingness for miles and miles and miles, and then boom,
it's a good hour outside of Riyadh.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Of like nothing. It's as if you were to build an entertainment city in the middle of a national park. It's basically just, there's nothing around you, and then boom, there it is.
Wow.
It's kind of like they built a park in the Grand Canyon. Like that's really like kind of what it feels like, because there's a point where you like exit and you go down like an elevation, like probably like 700 feet, and your ears are popping because you're just going down the canyon. And it's this massive, massive road they built, and it's surreal just seeing it.
Wow. So you guys get to the park, right? And you, as you're again meeting up with your contact here to connect with her, you mentioned you have time for Falcon's flight, and we've got to talk Falcon's flight again, as I mentioned. Fastest, it's like 100 and well, I don't even know. Let's pull up our CDB. 155 miles per hour. 534 feet tall, 640 feet of elevation change, and almost 14,000 feet long, which is absurd. Yeah. And I've seen the POVs. Scott's got a really, really good one on the CoasterForce YouTube channel, which we'll link to in the show notes. Is this like this coaster? Just is it as insane as everyone's kind of making it out to be?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. When you're kind of going through the queue, and I've seen again videos of the queue line, I'm living vicariously through people who have made this trip already. So I see it on TikTok, see it on YouTube, Instagram, things like that. Is it super highly themed, or what are we kind of dealing with queue wise?
It's got good theming, I would say.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nothing like Universal or Disney standards, I would say, but for Six Flags, it's just nice to see. Like it's nothing out of this world, but when you really think of the fact you're at a Six Flags park and you're seeing this level of theming, it's a very refreshing kind of sight to see, and especially something like this for this massive, roller coaster. Like you can tell they definitely really tried to put everything they can into this whole experience, and it's very well done, very futuristic looking. It's just it does really feel like you're walking into this futuristic kind of lab, like something crazy is happening here. It does give you that great sense of immersion,
and something crazy is happening. Take us through the ride experience.
Yes. That's for sure.
Yes. So I'll maybe I'll give you my version of the ride. Hunter can give his version of the ride, but this is kind of my thought. And the thing is that I think I got like 14 or 15 rides on it total. Okay, I'm gonna start by saying I love this ride. It's in my top 15, top 20. Like, it is fantastic. But I feel like a lot of people that have gone and ridden it might overhype it a little. Oh, sorry, just mute.
You're good.
So that being said, all right, the first part, it's gonna be what, 150, 160 feet, the little launched lift, and then it
Something
does
like that. Yeah.
like a couple hills. Great little airtime moments in the first part. It's super fun. It kind of builds you up for like the big, like the big grand reveal of launching up the cliffside. That launch is amazing. I loved cruising up the cliff. I think you get like 70 or 80 miles an hour on the way up, and it's just, that's when you realize that you're on something different, right? Because you're just flying up this cliff, and it's like lightning rod, like OG lightning rod on steroids. And it gets to a point where you're like, okay, well, the launch to stop, we still have to go all the way up there, but you have enough momentum to get up there. Once you're at the top, one of the first things it does is that sort of tilt over the side, and I loved that element because you're literally tilting over about 600 feet, and the visuals are amazing. My beef with the ride kind of starts here, because after that, it's like a lot of slow turns, kind of slow hills. Like, you're up on top of this mountain for quite a little bit. I almost felt like it was a little too long. I like the approach to the drop off the side. It's just super ominous. I feel like it hangs you off over that drop for too long and too far into the drop. If it would have been more like a Shikra where you kind of go halfway over and then it releases, I feel like it would have been better. But since it hangs you until literally the back row is almost vertical and then lets go, it almost kills the drop sensation. And that's a pretty substantial drop. I mean, I think that's got to be like a 250, 300 foot vertical drop. But then you drop into the tunnel. The launch after the tunnel, there's like nothing that can prepare you for that initially. Like, I've ridden so many launch coasters, so many amazing coasters. Earlier on in the trip, we rode Formula Rossa, which is, arguably one of the best, if not the best, physical launches in the world. So after just coming off something like that, which is 0 to 149 in 4.9 seconds, I was like, what can a magnet do? And I was not prepared. And it literally just, it just thrusts you so hard into your seat, and you're already going about 80 miles an hour, and it gets to the 155 top speed very quickly. And you're going 155 miles an hour. There's no doubting it. It's not that the ride is rough, but there's no physical way, I don't think, to do a roller coaster at 155 to make it perfectly smooth. So it does have like that raw feel to it. Sends you up the massive Camelback Hill, like 545 feet up. It has a little trim at the top, but it doesn't even really matter. I mean, you do get a nice float coming up and then dropping down as well. And then the rest of the ride is just all speed. The thing with that is there's other rides. Take Formula Rossa, for example, where it would do its direction changes. It would, have like a slight profile, like a slight hill to give you almost like a 0G going over them. This was just more swooping directional changes. So there's no snappiness or intensity like I-305, which I get you kind of can't do that when you're going that fast. But I would have thought just a couple of nice, maybe 0G direction changes would have just made the ride so much better. Because, yeah, it's cool you're going 100 plus miles an hour, but eventually you're like, okay, this is just kind of the same thing over and over. And then it makes me think back to all those kind of one-trick pony rides, the Top Thrill Dragsters and Kingda Ka's, where I always wish those rides were longer. But looking back, I think that if they were any longer, it would just kind of take away from that shock value of how fast you're going. Overall, this ride is spectacular. I mean, it's in my top 10, top 15, somewhere around there. It is one of the greatest coasters in the world. Could it be better? It absolutely could.
Man,
I'll say
I love that analysis personally.
Yeah.
But Hunter, dive in.
Yeah. I'll kind of go through the pros and cons for it. The pros are there is no other coaster like it. and I don't think there ever will be. I if there is, I'd be in sheer shock. And I gotta say with this ride, I love just the whole start and build up to it. Like I love how this coaster is essentially just a massive build up. Like the LSM lift immediately has like the strongest kick I feel like out of any LSM lift, like the ones like Maverick and stuff. Like you feel a little kick and then you're going, and it just already it's like whoa, okay, we're going. The first drop, crazy, like great first drop for a ride like this, and it's especially when there's a 500-foot one coming. This is still the best way to start the ride. That whole first section, great, like nice little airtime moments. I love the little wave turn. I love the turnaround it does. That whole first section is great because I feel like this whole ride just essentially teases you, and in like the best way possible. Like the whole first half, you're like, oh, this is so fun, but I know what's coming and this is going to be terrifying. And then when it launches you up the mountain, kind of like he said, the weirdest feeling with this launch is I think, yeah, you're going like 80 to 90 miles an hour, and or even if you're going, you might be going 100. It sure feels like it. But since you're accelerating upwards and you're going that fast, it kind of just feels like one of those. Like I feel like the best way to compare it to is think of Velocicoaster's second launch, but lasting like 7 seconds. Like it's just a constant force going up that you feel the speed, and it's an insane feeling. And then the whole time you're up at the mountain, another part where it teases you. It's like, okay, now we're here and get ready because something terrifying's coming. We're going to build up your anxiety as much as possible. And then the dive coaster section, it's very unique and just, again, it's just holding you over, like, get your final breath in because everything's about to go down. That drop, that third launch, insanity. Like, launching downwards is just such a bizarre feeling. And then immediately going up the 500-foot camelback, like when you really think when you're on the ride how fast you just went from probably 50 feet off the ground to 500 feet off the ground at that rate is insane. And then that whole final section where you're just going 100 miles per hour around this whole layout, it's a sense of speed you can't replicate on anything else. So the pros is that this ride is just straight up insanity, and it is by far the most insane coaster ever created. The cons, I'll agree, very similar to Scott. The dive element does take away from the ride, I feel like, a bit too much. And I've learned, I think it does depend on the weight of the train, because we filmed a few POVs of the ride, and I noticed there are some where you're at that dive moment for probably like 9 to 15 seconds, and somewhere you're there for probably like 7. So I think depending on the weight of the train, it's going to either hold you there forever or it's just gonna kind of get you going much quicker. The back is definitely like the best place for it because that's really the only place you're gonna get that little whip down, but it's nothing like compared to like a dive coaster in the back row. It's just enough to feel a little something. But I think it does take away from the fact that we have a 200-foot vertical drop and you're not feeling it at all. And then my biggest complaint with this ride, honestly, is that it's after the third launch going up into the camelback. Not because it's the roughest, but I think because it's the sensation. You're not supposed to feel that on human body, just going that fast and that elevation change. But since you're launching back and it's pushing you into your seat, I mean, you're going 155 miles an hour, you can't block it. But then the second, before you even start going up the top hat, it's trimming you. So you kind of get jerked forward a little bit, and then it's slowing you down as you're bottoming out. So then you're pulling like probably 4 to 5 Gs going up this top hat. And it's just this weird force because you're kind of getting thrown forward, but pushed down. And your body does not like that because now it's kind of like it's putting pressure on your spine and your head that you shouldn't be feeling. And it's very uncomfortable. I think if they just, we keep saying, if they just let it at least get halfway up that top hat naturally or something to where you would, especially then when you go into the massive camelback, you get this lightest little floater, but you don't, it's very rare. Like I think there's only 2 rows you might feel that floater. Other than that, you're not getting anything. And this was such a great chance to get this nice, beautiful floater over this camelback, and it would have been super sick and surreal. But instead, it feels more like a gimmick and a record breaker, which it is, than an element that was made to provide enjoyment. And I think that's my biggest complaint with this ride is really sick. It's insane, but it is 100% a gimmick ride. It's made to do what it's made to do, and that is break records. It's not made to provide the craziest roller coaster, the best roller coaster experience out there. It's made to be a record breaker. And then very similar thing, that whole final half, the sensation of speed is crazy. My favorite part is when you bottom out on that camelback and you do the 90-degree whip. That's my favorite part. But then after that, like, they're just trimming you the whole rest of the ride. And it's any time where it's like, okay, we could be getting some force here, we could be getting some airtime here, we're going to slow you down about 20 miles an hour. And then you lose all that momentum. And I fully understand. I mean, for the reliability, for the maintenance, and just the lifespan of this attraction, they have to do that. There's no question. But I think if you want to provide the best coaster in the world, which is what you're advertising this attraction to be, this ride does just need a little more oomph. And I agree, like, kind of similar things with Top Thrill and King Ka. It is that, I hate to say one trick pony, but if Falcons didn't have that third launch in the camelback, but everything else was the same, it wouldn't be a coaster that's really in the conversation. But because it does have that, it's, you know, this coaster everyone must go and ride. And even for me, I'm a big fan of speed. Like, speed coasters, like Top Thrill 2 was my favorite coaster going into this trip because of the sensation of speed. And I thought Falcon's Flight, I'm like, well, there's no question. When really it didn't even make my top 20. And I think one thing Scott and I kept saying over time, and it's so true, because after your first ride, you're so starstruck, you can't believe it. And again, it is an incredible attraction. It is high in my rankings. But the more you ride it, the less you like it. And that's just kind of something we both noticed as we went. It's just kind of like, I think maybe it's just your body feeling like, again, like I said, your body shouldn't be feeling it, let alone, I think I only did 8 rides, because after, I think 6, I was like, I'm done. I physically don't think I'll feel good if I ride one more time.
Yeah. And like, to kind of touch on that too, it's when the initial wow factor of like your first couple rides, like once that goes away and you really start kind of nitpicking the ride, I think that's when you're just like, oh man, I'm getting kind of a headache from like this rattle, and I'm getting, you know, like this or that. And then you're just like,
yeah,
oh man, I'm gonna go ride Colossus.
Yeah, like that third launch it goes from the sensation of, oh my gosh, this is crazy, to, okay, get ready, here we go, okay, here we go. Like it becomes this more excitement moment to just, all right, brace for impact. Like, yeah.
Got it. I've got to ask though, Scott, I know you know what you do with Upstop Media and CoasterForce, you're kind of like the authority on ride filming for me. I will tell you that. When you're filming this ride, were you setting up like a camera rig like you do, or were you just like hanging on for dear life with the GoPro on your wrist, like at 90 degrees at your chin?
Hanging on for dear life with the GoPro on my chest, but then I like hold it out and I brace like that. And it's literally holding on for dear life. I mean, that third launch, like there's no possible, like it's probably the single hardest roller coaster moment I've ever had to film using a non-mounted camera. Like that is, I would say, the single most difficult moment, because it's either you're going to get the shot and you're going to absolutely be in pain, or you're going to miss the shot and be able to brace yourself. So I chose the pain, and I think the video paid off because it came out wonderful.
But he got an amazing shot that I don't know if he released yet, but he got an amazing reverse POV.
Oh, that's coming up. Yeah, like looking backwards.
Watching him film it was the funniest thing I've ever seen. It like he got it on, he filmed it with his metas too, and you see him like looking, and then when he looks at me, I'm like turning red laughing because I just see him struggling.
Yeah,
it's
my
so
face
great.
is like white and like like just the absolute like hardest cringe. You know, it's like I just dislocated my knee or something. I'm like just trying to get this shot. Yeah,
hilarious.
I mean, it came out awesome, but like, oh yeah, that was a rough one.
And still to come, right? It's not.
Yeah,
it's not out yet. Not out yet.
Yeah, I've got a ton. I mean, I'm just trying to get through all these videos.
I hear you. Totally get it. So, Hunter, I also got to go back to something you said. You're like, I wrote it 8 times because after the 6th one, I was like, I can't do this anymore. So, in pure like total coaster enthusiast fashion, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna die after 6. So let's write it 8 times. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah, like I think we rode it 5 times the first day, and then I rode it once on the second day. And after that one ride, I was like, if I ride this again, like I can't get back to the car. It gave me like the biggest headache I've ever had coming off a coaster. And I've always been I've never felt ill. I've never felt anything coming off a coaster. Like if I feel sick, I'll ride a coaster and I'll feel better. Like that's just how my body's built. This was the first ride that changed that. So
Okay.
and then with like the last day, I knew I'm like I had to get one more ride. And then Scott wanted one more shot, so I was like, all right, I'll ride it one more time. But I made sure like this is it. And it's crazy to say that like, I do really enjoy the ride, but there is a limit for that one for sure.
Fair
And
enough.
we went into the trip, and I said, let's ride Falcon's flight so many times that we're like sick of it, that we don't have to come back
Yes.
here for a while. You know what I mean? That was
Yep.
like our goal, and I think we achieved that.
And we succeeded. We
Yeah.
succeeded.
I love it. Well, the park does have 7 other roller coasters. It's got Iron Rattler, which is, I believe, the world's tallest tilt coaster. It's got Spitfire, which is an Intamin launch or multi-launch. It's got Colossus, that GCI wooden coaster.
Yes.
Outside of Falcon's Flight, what are the coaster highlights for you guys at Six Flags Qiddiya City?
Sea
Colossus.
Stallion. No.
I love
Colossus is insane. It is insane.
What makes it so good?
So when I talked to like Dustin, who designed the ride, and a lot of the Skyline guys and the GCI guys involved, they told me that this ride was going to be a sleeper hit because with their new trains can handle because it's a higher classification of restraint than the Millennium Flyers. So these trains can handle more forces, more intensity, tighter turning radiuses, things like that. And so, from my understanding, they were kind of told, "Hey, let's see what a GCI can do. Push this thing to the limit, right?" And even when Claire took his first ride on it, the owner of GCI, he called Dustin and he called the Skyline crew and he said, "Guys, I think you messed up on the calculations here. Like, there's no way that this is supposed to be like this." And they're like, "Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, it is." I mean, it has the strongest forces by far you'll ever find in a GCI, and honestly, that you'll probably find on most wooden roller coasters. If I could go
Agreed.
back in time and ride any roller coaster that existed, it would be the Bobs at Riverview Park. Like I'm a huge like Prior and Church, those old kind of insane layouts that they had, and that was like the most notorious one. That was like the most intense, craziest one that they ever built. And I think the closest that we can come to a modern like Riverview Bob's is this roller coaster.
Okay.
There's no
so
doubt. There's just
it's my number
like
2.
I think I'll never forget when we rode this for the first time. We hit that first hill. Like it was like you do the whip and you hit that first hill.
We're
and
filming
it
POV, by the
was
way.
the
We're both
most
filming.
Yeah, we're filming POV. It's the most violent like airtime I felt in a GCI, and we both look at each other like, oh no.
Yeah, our
And then we
jaws
just
are,
start
like, dropping.
bracing. Like our jaws just drop. We look at each other like, and then you see us both like immediately. We look, just grip even more because we're like, okay, we weren't expecting
what are
this.
we
And
in
then the
for?
whole rest of the ride is just so violent in the best way possible.
It's got old school elements, new school elements. You know, it has like the little wave turn, like downward banked hill. It has like one of my favorite kind of traditional coaster elements, and it's so simple. It's just when you go up, you do a flat turn and you drop out of it. And if you do that intensely, like if there's laterals on the turn and it slams you to the side and then it drops hard, it gives you some good airtime. Like that's just such a classic element that they don't put on coasters anymore. And it does that so violently. Oh, it was amazing. Just, it's so
great.
good.
Hurts so good, right?
The best. And all the other rides here. Iron Rattler, no doubt the best new gen Vekoma made. No question. I think all the new gen Vekomas, my biggest complaint has been there's no force behind it. There's nothing crazy because they're designed too perfectly. Like they're too flawless. And I feel like with Phonics at Fair Summerland, like that was the one that was too flawless. And then Siren's Curse was like, okay, we're upping it a bit, but similar thing. It's still a little too flawless. And then Iron Rattler, it's flawless, but this one is like, okay, we figured out the right mix of like intensity, airtime, and while perfectly keeping it at like the best engineering possible. And man, that drop is so 200 feet hanging straight down and then dropping, incredible.
Yeah, it's such a long drop. So I still think my favorite of the new gen Vekomas is Let Coaster because it has teeth. It
Oh, I haven't
runs
done.
so
Yeah,
much
I haven't done
faster. And yeah, Hunter, you need to ride that. But
it. I know.
Hunter's only
I
been on
do.
Siren's Curse once, and he rode it in the front row.
Yeah.
I feel like Siren's Curse in the back was a better ride than Iron Rattler. It was more intense, more dynamic, had a better variety of elements. Yeah, I mean the 200-foot drop is insane, but just I feel like the back row of Siren's Curse was more intense than any row on Iron Rattler. The theming in Iron Rattler is amazing, and
Incredible.
like they really did a perfect job of that sort of steampunk element, and the music they play in the section, and both Hunter and I agreed
Oh.
on this. It's like this dark steampunk music that's like from almost like a steampunk horror movie, and it was just the most well done, like just the immersion in that area. It was incredible.
All right, man. Now I like really am. I was jealous. I'm starting to get more jealous now, which is good.
Well, when everybody thinks of this park, they just think of Falcon's Flight. Falcon's Flight was not the standout of this park. The park as a whole was the
No.
standout to us. The theming of the
We
park, the hospitality, the food, the collection of rides, everything just it made this park. I mean, it's a top. I'd say top probably top 5 park for me.
You mentioned
Epic Universe
Right.
is one of my Epic Universe is one of my all-time favorite parks. Getting to be a part of the opening team and being a part of the hype and just watching it get built 10 minutes away from me was so surreal. I mean, look at Shane. He betrayed us today to go there. But the park as a whole, I feel like Six Flags, I can't believe I'm comparing it like this, but if Six Flags Qiddiya City is basically if you swapped the dark rides at Epic with coasters and the coasters were the dark rides, that's Six Flags Qiddiya. It's basically just all the headliners are going to be the coasters, and the dark rides they're solid, but they're nothing out of this world. I feel like that same thing with Epic. It's like coasters, they're solid, nothing insane except for Stardust, whereas the dark rides are the true standouts of the park. I feel like that it's a very swap, but when it comes to theming, the overall atmosphere, the music, the food, the environment, it is shockingly incredibly similar.
And you guys both mentioned the food. I mean, as someone who likes to eat at a theme park, what's the food like? Is it like is it oh god, I don't even want to you guys answer the question. I'm not even going to continue to vamp. Go ahead.
I've heard of this place. I love, like, whenever I go to, so I work in a full service restaurant at a theme park. So when I go to a theme park, if they have a full service restaurant, I want to try it. They had this one called Navigators, and we went, and the menu looked incredible. Like I think our first day, I remember I got 2 fillets of sea bass, and Scott
I got a
got
lamb
a
shank.
massive lamb chop. And it
Not
also
lamb
came with
shank. It
like
was a lamb shank.
authentic signs. We got like pita bread with hummus, like very authentic. We had like couscous with it, and just very authentic Mediterranean cuisine. And I think it's also just because the U.S. dollar to the Saudi dollar, I think like $1 is worth $5 in Saudi Arabia. Our final bill with like a massive bottle of still water, 2 appetizers, our entrees, we just said lamb chop and 2 sea bass, came out to $50. The lamb chop came out to $19. My 2 sea basses came out to $17. And the food was some of the best theme park food I've ever had in my entire life. The best seafood I've had in my entire life.
It like everything was chef driven. Like the plates were immaculate. Like the service was immaculate. We went back
There were
3 times.
charger plates at Six Flags.
Yeah, charger plates. Yeah. And they we went back 3 nights in a row because we wanted to basically try like the whole menu. They had very God, I can't think of the name of the desserts, but they're very like authentic Saudi desserts,
there's some
and they were
authentic.
just incredible. They had 2 choices. We tried them both. They're phenomenal.
One was like it was like a pistachio rice pudding was one, and the other was this like coconut sweet, almost like, I don't even know how to describe it. It was just a weird like crunchy cake, I guess. Yeah, honey, like coconut honey kind of crunchy cake.
Oh, so good.
But it was so good.
Oh man.
Yeah, and we had a Philly cheesesteak at another restaurant, and that was even amazing.
That was shockingly really good.
Yeah, like everybody in our group, every restaurant they ate at, they had very positive things to say about. And that says a lot because typically, I mean, 99.9% of the theme parks, the food is such an afterthought. And here it was like
Mhm.
we were excited to eat every day.
And it was, I mean, it seems like there's a mix of cuisines here. If you're getting, sea bass and you're getting, Mediterranean, Middle Eastern with the hummus and the pita bread, but you're also getting like Philly cheesesteak. So it seems
Yeah.
like there's a little bit of something for everybody.
Tacos, barbecue.
There was tacos. There's a great Chinese restaurant too.
Yeah, Chinese. Yeah, they had like literally everything you can imagine there. It was so awesome.
Nice. I love it. You also mentioned the dark rides. I'm looking at their website right now, and this Into the Deep is an interactive dark ride, and then there's the Enchanted Greenhouse. Anything worth
Yes.
noting about these, or are they good?
Into the Deep was a lot of fun. It's one of the new gen Triotech, I think like 5D kind of dark rides. But it's like both the vehicle and the seats move, so it's very like sudden movements, and the theming and the sets in there were very well done. The Enchanted Greenhouse is cool. Uh it's a weird ride. Like basically the theme is you just go in this greenhouse and you get this dew, and then you have to like spray all these creatures, and then there's one point you shrink, and then there's a massive bee on a trackless platform that chases you, and then there's like we didn't know until we rode there, like stingers in the back of each seat, and like it's just a bunch of us, like a group of like 8 American guys, and when they stung us, like all of us jumped around. What the heck? Like, in this like super family, like beautiful greenhouse, it was so funny. Weird ride. Like both were really good. Especially like I said, for Six, like they're nothing like Disney or Universal quality, but for Six Flags, really well done, really enjoyable, but definitely unique, very odd attractions.
All right, so it's like a bug's life or whatever it is. It's tough to be a bug.
It's literally if it's tough to be a bug was a dark ride. That's the best way to put it.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, without being scary though.
Yeah.
The only scary part was the bee. But the bee was all they're like, oh, don't wake the bee. Don't wake the bee. And we're like, oh, that's cute. Ah! We got stung by
It's so
bee.
funny.
Oh my
so
gosh.
funny.
How are the crowds? I mean, you're again, we're still like 2-3 months into this place opening. How were the crowd levels?
Their weekends are Friday, Saturday, which I didn't realize until I got there. So our first day there was a Thursday, and it was slow. I mean, by the end of the day, you could walk on Falcon's Flight. Falcon's Flight would be the ride that typically have a line, obviously.
Mhm.
But I mean, literally by the end of the day, you'd see half full trains going out. Saturday was like busy. I mean, I think we saw Falcons post 120 minutes at one point.
I think it got up to 110 at one point. Yeah.
Yeah, 110, and then all the other rides, got to be about a half hour or so. And then same thing with Saturday, but then Saturday, much like a Sunday, the later we got into the evening, the crowd just fell off, and then everything was just a walk on again. So
Sunday and Thursday, it really felt like we had the park to ourselves.
Yeah,
That's good.
Yeah, it was nice.
Love that.
Yeah.
All right, I think is there anything we've missed about Six Flags Qiddiya City? I know you guys hit some other parks, and we're going to talk a little bit about the rest of your trip, kind of the highlights. Not this in depth, but anything else that's kind of missing from the Six Flags experience?
Well, I would
Drop
say
Tower is disappointing.
Was that
Drop Tower is very disappointing.
Oh yeah. Sirocco Tower, unfortunately, was just kind of forceless. I mean, it had a cool theming and immersion. The storytelling was neat. The ride itself was lackluster. I thought one of the biggest surprises besides Colossus was Spitfire. Honestly, that ride.
Spitfire was great.
We rode that a ton of times.
I was shocked how good that was.
I think everybody was. I mean, that ride definitely has a bite to it, and because with Falcon's Flight right next to it, you don't really think about the scale of this ride still being over 200 feet, having the tallest inversion. And then I will say the people at the park, everybody you came across was so nice and so welcoming.
Mm-hmm.
And they were genuinely happy that you were there and genuinely excited to see you there. And everybody wanted to talk to you. I mean, even I would ask somebody where a restroom was, and they would literally walk me there. Like, it was just from the service and hospitality aspect, it was one of the best I've ever seen at any park. I mean, they were just above and beyond nice. Every single person was helpful. nobody ever rolled their eyes at you or nobody ever gave you attitude. It was just, you could tell that they're excited about their park, they're passionate about it, and they wanted to show their
Yep.
passion.
That's
And
awesome.
and then I'm trying to think there's more. The log flume was shockingly really good too.
Oh
Do
yeah.
the log flume if you have time. That was a ton of fun. And then I loved this Mauer Spike coaster. I loved it. I understand why that's not everyone's cup of tea, but I think the experience as a whole is very unique. And I think if you let somebody else drive and you're just in the back, like arm and legs out, just riding free, it's one of the most fun and hilarious attractions out there.
All right, and that's Sea Stallion, I believe that's called, right?
Yeah, Sea Stallion. Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. Well, good to know there. I still have not made my way to one of those Mauer Spike coasters. You guys are obviously a lot more well traveled than I am, but one day I'll get on one. I feel like.
Yeah, I've only done 2. I did the one at Skyline Park, which was like okay, but then the one at Qiddiya was awesome.
Got it. All right, well, let's talk about the rest of the trip. I mean, you said you spent 4 days at Six Flags Qiddiya City, but you guys were in the greater Middle East, Dubai, places around that for, the better part of 2 weeks. What are some of the other highlights and, the big key points of your trip over there?
Real Madrid World, sorry, was something.
That was a park we visited.
That was it. That's one of the weirdest parks I think I've ever been to my entire life, because essentially, like, for people who don't know about it, half of the park's abandoned. It was formerly Bollywood Parks, and when you walk in, everything's Bollywood and Indian themed, and then you just take a left, and it's just the small little Real Madrid like theme. And you're like, oh, okay. And then you go in, and it's just one main street that they themed, and they left the other half of the park to sit. And there's an unbuilt mock hypercoaster. There's a Ferris wheel, it's abandoned. There's like a flying theater that's abandoned. The Hala Madrid coaster, cool.
Great.
And then they have
beautiful looking coaster.
Yes, looks great. And then the Unstoppables dark ride I have to bring up. If I've ever ridden a ride that I came off of and said money was really spent on this, like on a ride like this, I've never come off more confused. It's essentially, it was a dark ride that was meant to be a shooting dark ride that is now not. And the theme of it is aliens have invaded Earth, and the only way to take back Earth is by defeating them in a soccer match for the Universe Cup. Because that makes sense. And everything is black and there's no audio till you park in front of a screen, and then it appears, and it's just a narrator that sounded like the translating was from Google Translate. Like, you made it. Okay, good. Now cheer for team. And then you don't do anything. And then you're parked in front of the screen for 20 seconds. It was the weirdest. If you have free time, look it up, because it's honestly hilarious. It's the weirdest dark I've ever done.
POV coming soon.
Yes.
Of course, POV coming soon.
I will say, though, in other words, I think when it comes to the Dubai area, Motion Gate Dubai, massive surprise. I loved that park. Coasters were fun. But the dark rides there, like there was a Shrek dark ride.
Oh,
one of the greatest dark rides ever made. Hotel Transylvania dark ride, super fun. There was there was one more. What was it? Oh, the How to Train Your Dragon inverted powered coaster, one of the greatest rides ever made.
Best ride in the park for sure, I would say.
Yeah, no question. It was, that whole park is incredible. Operations are a bit rough, to say the least there, but the attractions there make it worth it. It is so good.
Yeah, they almost outburked Epic Universe in a way.
It's much closer than it should be.
Yeah. Wow. We went and rode the Storm Coaster at Dubai Hills Mall.
Great ride.
Which was, that's the closest that we've come to kind of that polar coaster. Which was just awesome to see that inside a mall. I mean, like, the ride was immaculate. There's a pre-show, like it had like a little theme to it. Unfortunately, with that style of ride, because of the footprint and everything else and the elevation change, you need a lot of like trim brakes throughout the ride. So it kind of played with the pacing a little bit, but for what it was just an awesome ride. And then I loved Global Village as well. So
Global Village was incredible.
That was like a total surprise. It's like Epcot on steroids almost.
And it's not even like a theme park thing. Like they have like the 2 coasters and a whole like carnival section, but the whole essentially is you just pay this like small little admission fee. I think it came out to like $3 US. And when you go in, it's just this essentially massive marketplace where there's all these different portals to these countries, and all these countries are authentic selling like vendors from the country selling a bunch of different unique items. So if you're looking for true authenticity, that's one of the best places you can go. And some of the like the light shows, the entertainment, the fountain shows they had there were some of the best things I've ever seen when it comes to entertainment. It was
And they
incredible.
have the Turkish ice cream too.
They had Turkish ice cream, which is hilarious.
I did see the video, and that's another one we will link in the show notes because I believe it's on your Instagram or something, Scott. But the Turkish ice cream of the guy giving you the cone, taking the cone, it's high comedy.
Yeah, it's like I've seen so many videos of it, and I'm always like, man, I hope I end up in a place that has that. And I'm like, there it is, let's go.
It was so great.
That's fantastic. Oh, well, it sounds like you guys had a great trip, and I, again, extremely, extremely jealous. You know, do you have plans to go back to the region anytime soon, or is this kind of a we made it happen, we're good for a couple of years?
Well, so we want to go back to Yas Island. There's potential of going to the park in November, depending on the current I guess political climate. But I mean, Warner Brothers is, I mean, that was like one of my favorite parks of the trip. And
Yas Island as a whole, I don't know how that place is real. Everything is otherworldly over there. The SeaWorld, insane. It's not SeaWorld. It's not. It feels like another, like, just a mass. I don't even know how to describe it. The craziest, like, aquarium you'll ever see in your life. And then Warner Brothers Movie World, hands down one of the best parks I've ever been to in my life. Insane. And Ferrari World, incredible. Formula Rossa is up there for me. I personally took Formula Rossa over Falcon's Flight. I know it's going to be a controversial take, but I loved just all the different parks in Yas Island. It's insane.
Yeah, and knowing that Warner Brothers is rapidly expanding, and some of the themes and expansions they're looking to incorporate into that park. I mean, that just the way it sits, it was fantastic. Like, I've always wanted a proper themed Gotham City section in the park, and that has it. And that alone to me was like, yes, it's like right in the childhood, But knowing that they're going to be rapidly expanding that park, I mean, it's going to be one of the best parks on the planet when they're done with it.
Every ride we rode there, we came off of it, we're like, that was amazing. Oh my gosh, that's like one of the best rides I've done. We ride another ride. That was one of the best rides I've ever done. Ride another ride. That was one of the best. Like, every ride there was one of the best rides we've ever done. It's insane.
And the theming was just like, wow.
Yeah, I think we talked with Dave Cobb on the podcast a couple times, and I think he had he did it's one of the family roller coasters. I can't remember the cartoon, but he was talking about kind of what went into that, and I'm like, it is truly a different world theme park wise over there.
Yeah,
100%.
So, that's awesome. Well, I'm glad you guys got to go. I'm glad that video exists and is going to continually come out. And we will definitely link to both of your channels, but we'll link to it in the show notes. But we're going to give you guys the opportunity here. So, Scott, I'll start with you. Where can our audience find your stuff?
So CoasterForce across the board. CoasterForce YouTube, Instagram as well. That's typically where I post. We're also on Facebook. We're on X. Upstop Media as well. That's my LLC. So mainly TikTok is what I post on TikTok and Instagram. But you can check out our website, CoasterForce.com. You can also check out UpstopMedia.com for more about my company. Those are going to be the best places to follow along.
And Hunter, what about you?
Oh yeah, you can find me at Theme Park Hunting on YouTube, Instagram, and X as well, along with TikTok. And if you want to just hear me rant about my opinions on Twitter as well, when it comes to theme parks, you can follow me at Hunter HRNDZ.
Love it. Awesome. Well, after you follow Theme Park Hunting, CoasterForce, Upstop Media, and Hunter's personal account where he rants, apparently, make sure you're also following Coaster101 on all forms of social media. We have a website, Coaster101.com. So if you need more great coaster content after you're done checking those two out, come find us. We're right there. But if you're
And call
listening,
Shane a sham while you're at it.
Yeah, do maybe call
You ever
Shane
see
a sham.
Shane? He's a sham. Yeah.
This is true. So the thing is, like with Coaster 101, very few people know like the 10 of us behind it. I'm the one who kind of puts my voice and face out there every once in a while. But you know, if you see Shane's in the Orlando area. I'm not going to dox him any further than that. But if you see him, call him. But if you're listening, make sure you're also liking, rating, reviewing, subscribing, and doing all the other podcast buzzwords. We love the positive reviews on iTunes and Spotify and anywhere you can leave a review, because the more people who listen to the show, the more opportunities it gives us to bring on great guests like Scott and Hunter to tell us about their theme park journeys, which obviously I love hearing, and it was great to hear from them today. But also coaster101.com/merch for the latest and greatest theme park inspired Coaster 101 merchandise. And a huge thank you, as always, to Justin Mabry of JM Entertainment, who did our theme music. So, Hunter, Scott, thank you guys so much. We have to do this again soon. You guys, again, like I mentioned, you're far more well-traveled than I am, and you've got better stories. Like we made it almost an hour, didn't talk about the Jeddah Road Metro. Let's talk about that real quick before we wrap this up. Because this is Scott's name in our recording area. And Hunter is already he's got his head in his hands. Scott, tell me about this before we wrap up.
So there's a train stop. It's kind of like one of the last stops in Riyadh, and it's the Jeddah Road Metro Station, which is off of Jeddah Road. And from the Jeddah Road Metro Station, there's a very convenient, very nice bus that will take you from there all the way to the park. What's nice about the bus is it is free, and they offer like water and I think soft drinks on the bus as well. Mm-hmm. And there's like a nice little waiting area with like bean bags. You can hang out. They have little videos playing, little trailers that kind of show Qiddiya City. And I thought it was like a nice setup. The problem is when you leave the park and you get to the station and the trains are closed for the night, you're kind of stuck there either trying to take a cab or an Uber. And this is one of those places where every single cab that is around will harass you and ask you multiple times if you need a ride. And when you call an Uber, the Ubers, it'll say, oh yeah, we'll get you an Uber in 3 minutes. And then it'll take like a half hour. So we spent many a night waiting at this station, often
every time we're there, it's freezing cold. We took naps on the bus. We're on the verge of falling asleep. So we're coming off this bus off of like a 10-minute nap that just, we're already so sleep deprived. It's 40 degrees out. We're getting harassed nonstop. I was so done. I was so done. I loved the lounge, but the thing is, once the park closed, the lounge closed. So you'd get to the station and then you're one area where there's heat and comfort. Nope, closed. So you're just standing out, sitting on the pavement, waiting, and it's awful. And so we probably spent, I think, a combined 2 hours at this station, and it was miserable.
And in that whole area, traffic was horrendous in that area. So
abysmal.
When you order an Uber, and it's like Uber is 4 minutes away. That 4 minutes
it takes forever.
15 minutes because they keep.
And it's just for them trying to take one turn, but it's because that turn is so backed up.
It was painful. And
so we keep joking every time we left. I kept saying, I'm like, it's one thing I'm glad I don't have to deal with for a while, and hopefully never will step foot at again: the Jeddah Road Metro Station.
Yeah, Hunter is emotionally scarred from it. So
it's awful.
Yeah.
And now, of course, it's Scott's contact photo on his phone is me extremely pissed off at the Jeddah Road Metro Station.
Yeah, he was just looking miserable, and I just snapped a real quick photo. So that's my contact photo for Hunter now. I can send it to you if you want to post the photo as well for the.
Yeah, no, let's not. Let's not do that. No.
All right. Okay. Well, I won't do that then. But guys, thank you so much. That's going to do it for this week's episode of the Coaster 101 podcast, and we will talk to you again soon. See ya.